Alright, now that everything's cleaned up, we're going to put the dampening rod back together. I've noticed there's a sharp edge right there, so when you put the head seal on, it can damage the seal. So what I do is get some black electrical tape and cut a thin line and wrap it around there about once or twice, and this will let the seal slide on smooth. If the seal is really hard, there's probably tape stuck in there, so take it back off and just get it to the right length and you shouldn't have a problem. So now I'm going to put the dust cap on and the bump stop. And I'm going to tighten the nut down. So I'm going to tighten this nut down pretty good so we can put the bottom piece of the dampening rod back on and use the nut to tighten the bottom piece of the rod. And now we're going to fill the bladder up halfway with new oil. And fill the other side up the same height as the bladder. Now we're going to stick the bladder in. Make sure you line the Schrader valve up the right way so that it doesn't hit anything on the bike. And you want to get the pan again, because when we push down there's oil that'll shoot out. So push the bladder down just below where the circlip goes. And then you can put the circlip in. Alright, now what you'll want to do is pump the bladder, put about 30 psi in it to get the oil out of the bladder side. This will help out later with putting the new head seal in with the rod, because we'll let the air out of the bladder as we push the seal in. What I use is just it's actually a shock pump for a mountain bike. You can use any other kind of pump, whichever works on a Schrader valve. So I actually had the Schrader valve lined up the wrong way, so I checked it with my bike and readjusted it. But to do that, you got to let the air back out and adjust it the right way, and then pump it back up. But now that everything's set right, fill the other side about 3/4 of an inch from the top with oil. And now we'll put the dampening rod in. Just slowly push the rod in. And I now am kind of pumping it in and out a few times just to make sure there's no bubbles. Now we'll push the head seal down. And here's when you need to let the air out of the bladder while pushing the new head seal in. Just make sure you push it down and get all the air out, and it should slide down just below where the new circlip goes on for this head seal. Once you get it below the line, you can put the new circlip in place. Now tap the dust seal into place. Now put that last ring on, which is the support for the spring, and then we'll tighten our the bottom of the rod on. Hold that nut with the wrench, and then we can tighten the bottom piece up and lock those two together. Now we can go ahead and put the spring back on. And put this last support on. And now tighten the two top rings to secure the spring. Then I'll go ahead and read my manual and set all my adjusters back to stock. And I'll tighten the spring down pretty good, but to get a final adjustment, put it on the bike and set your sag. Before any of this, make sure to get the nitrogen charged and you'll be good to go.